So I had these great plans for the top 3 videos in this series. I was going to have props, I was going to do little skits like I've been doing these later videos, but then 2 foot of snow decided it was going to drop on my head. And I had to spend days digging us out, and because I spent days digging us out, I also got deathly ill, which took me out for more days after that. So instead of making 3 really awesome, fantastic videos about my top 3, I'm sorry guys, if I'm going to keep to my goal of finishing this series by the end of January, I need to just do all 3 in one. I really hope that you guys do like these videos and check out these games, and if you guys watch these and really like it, if you let us know either in the comments on YouTube or the comments on our site, or even just email me at mike@inroadsministries.com and say that you love the top 10 series, then I'll probably do it again at the end of, well, now this year. But I've really had fun making this series, and you'll probably see me on our channel doing other stuff in the future kind of like this, just because I think it's a lot of fun. I'm a self-professed Plaid Hat fanboy. You can now quantifiably prove this, because we've already had one in Spectre Ops, and now we have another one, and by the time we're done with our top 10, there will be 3 different Plaid Hat games on this list. For some reason, they just do stuff that I absolutely love. And this one is a brand new game that came out at Gen Con of 2015, and I picked it up. I waited online and picked it up. It's Ashes: Rise of the Phoenixborn. Now, I love 2-player card games. I've already listed on number 9 an Android Netrunner, and then I've talked a bunch about Doomtown Reloaded, which didn't make the top 10, but is also a really well-respected game in my collection. So, what sets Ashes apart? There's a couple things. One is its accessibility. In the box, you have about 8 starter sets. Completely different feel, completely different strategies. Right out of the original box, you have plenty of options before you even begin to do deck building. They've just handed you different variations on this game. Now, that is a huge boon to anybody who only has the ability, or the connections, if you don't even own the game, but the ability to just have that one. This gives you, in one box, so much variation. As far as the gameplay goes, it does resemble the basic 2-player format. One guy puts down a bunch of stuff. The other guy puts down a bunch of stuff. You attack, you defend, you try to protect your main character and the life points that they have. The thing that really sets Ashes apart to me is the addition of dice. Games also have a tradition of basically finding out some way to bring your cards to the table. You don't just throw stuff down. You usually have to have some kind of spell component. You know, magic has mana. There's always some way to get the cards to table. The way Ashes does it is they have dice, and you have a pool of dice. Beginning of the round, you roll them out, and all the different faces are unique, and they basically dictate what you can and can't do. See, each card has a cost that reflects those dice. And if you run out of dice, you're stuck until the other guy's done. Because the way a round ends is that both of you have to pass, saying, I'm done, I have no other moves, and then you get to pick up your dice again and roll them again. I find this awesome, because not only do you have to make sure that you're aware of what you have, you also have to be aware of what they have, what the strategy for that is. I've had lots of times when I have the biggest, baddest, craziest thing on my side of the board, but I only have the one because it cost half my dice. However, the other person has had 15 different little things because their stuff only costs 1 or 2 die to begin with. And while I'm sitting there saying, I'm done, all my stuff's exhausted, all my dice are spent, the other person is just kicking back and saying, I'm going to attack you with this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and I'm toast. So, I love this game. I absolutely think it's beautiful. I love the fact that even though, straight out of the box, there's so much value, they are adding in more. They've just recently released 2 different expansion packs. You also have the fact that they have a huge presence in an organized play. They're really pushing this, and they're going to be developing more tournaments and stuff like that. You're going to be seeing this in local stores. I really think you need to pick up Ashes because it is a fantastic game, and if you love two-player card games, technically this one goes up to 4, but in my opinion, it really shines at 2 players. I can't not recommend this to you. Like I said, number 2 is also from the people at Plaid Hat. It is a game that, up until recently, held my number 1 spot for a couple of years running. And basically, it's so close between 1 and 2, because 1 is just that much more awesome, but I will still beg, borrow, and steal to get City of Remnants to the table. The thing I love about City of Remnants is it really is just an absolutely beautiful mess. There's so much going on. There's hand management, because the way you do combat and the way you do everything revolves around how many cards and what the power of those cards is in your hand. You have auctions, because in order to get new guys into your hand, either to bolster your forces or to replace ones that have died in combat, you have to say, I'm going to recruit this guy, and the rest of the table has the opportunity to outbid you for that guy. You're adding in different gear and different resources that you can also help out to do awesome things in combat in the middle of things. You have city building, because you are developing these different resources and putting your guys on them. Oh, putting your guys on them. Yes, you are talking about area control. All of this stuff comes in a board that is trying to attack you, because there are these forces that are not controlled by the players. They are the Yugai, they are the alien race that have put all of you in this city to begin with, and they are constantly attacking different squares on the board, and there's so much here. And I think part of the reason why I don't get to play it that much is because it seems so intimidating. But it really isn't that complicated. While there's so many different things going on, each individual thing is actually fairly simple. It's only when you put them together that it seems intimidating. I stumbled onto this game. I hadn't heard of it. I had no idea it was out there. I stumbled on it because at my first Gen Con trip, I was trying hard to get to play the BioShock Infinite game that Plaid had also put out. And I'm a big fan of BioShock, so I said, I'm going to just sit here and wait. I'm going to wait for a table to open. I never got one. To this day, I've never played BioShock Infinite. I want to fix that. But what did happen that year was there was a couple of guys who were sitting down to try City of Remnant, and the guy running the game said, hey, dude, we need one more. Do you want in? And I said, absolutely. And City of Remnants, from that moment on, has been my favorite game in my collection. I know hardcore hobby gamers who have never heard of City of Remnants. I know people who are epic fanboys of Plaid Hat, like myself, who have never heard of City of Remnants. I love the fact that they have so much awesome that there's stuff under the radar of awesome. But it was one of my happiest days ever when I got to actually sit down with Isaac Vega for a couple minutes. We were talking about other games that he was doing, because he's huge responsible for Ashes. So we were clearly talking about Ashes for a bit, but I did, after I was done doing that for the podcast, I just looked at him and go, dude, I still got to tell you, City of Remnants is one of my favorites. And we were talking about that and how he wants to potentially revamp that in the future, try to get it in a new package. And I don't care if they do that or it stays the way it is and it just sits on my shelf, because I love this game. And I hope you will too. I hope you'll check this one out. If there's no other game that you check out because I say so, please go look at City of Remnants, because more people need to play this. And if you're looking for a way to do that, come find me. I really want to play. Last but certainly not least is a game that made, I couldn't even tell you how many top 10 lists this year. So many people got on this bandwagon, and I wish I had earlier. I don't often say, oh man, I'm kicking myself for not getting in on that Kickstarter. It's rare that I ever do that, because I like being able to see a game before I spend, large amounts of money on it. But, that being said, I am still kicking myself for the fact that I did not get in on the Blood Rage Kickstarter. This game is beautiful. It's done by the guys at Cool Mini or Not. It is a large reason why when we did our end of 2015 kind of award show, that Cool Mini or Not was my publisher of the year. Blood Rage had a large portion to do with it. It wasn't the only one, but it is a large portion of it. This game is absolutely gorgeous. The minis are to die for. As a guy who is way, way big into Norse mythology, the fact that they could take these epic creatures of myth and legend and make them look so awesome while still making the miniatures so sturdy that I don't fear breaking them. Because so many times when you have miniatures games, the miniatures get tossed around and they're not really protected well, and something ends up snapping and you have to end up gluing it, and it's never right. These guys are sturdy, they're solid. I've thrown them around, put them in tubs to bring them to game days. Nothing hurts these things. At worst, I had to do the quick little dip in hot water and then reform it to get one of the bases that was a little warped. But that's the worst I've had to do. So they're awesome. The game itself ties so many different things. It's kind of like the same reason I love City of Remnants, which is why I said they are so close in my opinion. But it brings a bunch of different stuff. You are constantly moving your guys around the board. You are trying to bring in new and awesome units, but it works on a drafting mechanic because you're basically, you're given a handful of cards, and when you first play this game, you have no idea what you're doing. You have no idea what your potential strategy is. So you're just kind of throwing stuff around and seeing what sticks. But then afterwards, you start developing that strategy. Like, oh, if I get enough quest cards, I'll just dominate. Or, oh, okay, I'm not seeing the combat that I want, so I'm probably going to lose. There's actually a strategy where if you lose most fights, you're going to end up winning the game because you get points for every person that dies in battle. And when you really know what the cards hold, everything just opens up wide. Your strategies become these malleable just dances of awesome as you're looking at cards and saying, okay, what's still available? Oh, I think so-and-so got this one. And even if every once in a while you want to throw in like a hate draft that says, this isn't going to help me, but I know so-and-so's getting it. This game does so many awesome things. And as an avid Ameritrash guy myself, I'm not going to lie, the theme, the Viking theme, and the Norse mythology theme, it's going to get me. You're going to score points with me pretty much regardless. So when it's actually a good game, and it has that Viking theme, I'm sold. I'm completely in. I think that this game is fantastic. A bunch of other reviewers are going to tell you that it's a fantastic game. I will just add my voice to that chorus. Number one's probably not a surprise to anyone, but I couldn't not have it be there because it's such a beautiful game. Alright guys, so those are my top 3. This finishes up my top 10 list. Remember, this list was only about games that I particularly own. There are so many other games out there. I hope that when watching these videos, you've kind of gotten inspired to check out certain games, whether it's the game I talk about or the honorable mention at the end, or even just this gets like a starting point for what you can find out there right now. Maybe you haven't gotten into gaming before, you didn't know what was available, and you've watched these videos, and it really gets you inspired to go out there and play some games. That is my ultimate goal. I really hope that you guys like these videos. Like I said, if you want me to do more top 10 lists, if you want me to even just do this one over again at the end of this coming year, I would be happy to do so. Please leave comments on our YouTube channel, on our page, or just email me and let me know. I'd be happy to do more for you guys. I really just want to keep putting out content that you guys want to watch. So I hope you love these videos. Go back and check out all the old ones if you haven't seen them yet. And look forward to seeing more from our channel, both as part of Inroads Plays and Mike's Top 10. You might see more lists coming in the future.